Good morning. This is cybersecurity expert Reginald Andre, and today we're going to be talking about the cyber attacks that is unfortunately hitting Ukraine right now. Now, of course, this is not a political channel. We are a cybersecurity company in South Florida, and we just wanted to just give the perspectives as far as you, a business owner, on how you should be looking at these cyber attacks hitting Ukraine and how you can help within your company to make sure that you're protected. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are out to the Ukraine people, and we do hope that this violence stops. So, getting to it, several Ukraine government websites were offline yesterday, February the 23rd, which was Wednesday, as a result of a mass distributed denial of service attack, Ukraine officials said. So, essentially, what's happening is I guess as Russia is invading this country, Ukraine, what they're doing is trying to take down their services. So if they can take out government websites, if they can take out banking websites, then essentially that's one part of the war that they're winning, because now they've cut off the information and communication between between the government and its people. So how does this happen? So a DDoS, which is a distributed denial of a service attack, is a sense where you have a server, and again, this, let's just say it's a banking website. It's a government computer, and normally for numbers, let's just say normally 100 people per minute access this website. So every minute you have about 100 people accessing it on average. Now all of a sudden, the server gets 1,000 requests. Well, typically servers cannot handle that. Servers, you normally build them so that they can be about 2.5 times its use. So in this case, although typical day is 100, the server was probably built to handle 300. And again, I'm just giving rough numbers. And of course, it's more than 300, but I'm just trying to give easy numbers so that you can understand the concept of what the DDoS attack is and how, even with all of the sophistication that Ukraine may have to deter these type of cyber attacks, how this still happens. So essentially, the server was averaging about 100 users per minute. Its capacity is about 300, but now you have 1,000. Excuse me. Now you have 1,000 people trying to access the server, and by flooding that server with 1,000 requests per minute, it essentially makes the server inoperable, and the server in a way just gets overwhelmed and it freezes. It's kind of like if you have your home computer and you start opening many windows, at a certain time your memory and your task manager, it's going to go to capacity, and now it's going to then freeze. And that's exactly what's happening. And this is a tool that hackers use to get into systems, because sometimes now that the computer is frozen, it's more in a more vulnerable state, and a lot of the security tools that are on the systems are not working properly, and now the hackers can now get in. And of course, in this case, it's just a way, like we mentioned, is to cut the communication. So because of this, several government websites were offline Wednesday as a result of this mass distributed denial of service attack. Now, another thing that we're seeing and that's been talked about is that these computers are also getting hacked. Now, we talk in our channel all the time about what you should do to protect yourself. Do your updates, have obviously antivirus, have all of these things. But when you talk about government-sponsored attacks, there's a lot of things that they know about the Windows operating system. There's a lot of things that they know about the switches and the routers and all of the equipment that these places are using that have vulnerabilities. And what they do is they sit on those vulnerabilities. They, instead of let's just say, for example, Microsoft, there's an issue with Microsoft. They find out this bug, but they don't report it to Microsoft. And maybe this bug is a way for them to get into the systems. And what these government-sponsored these government officials do and agencies do is essentially sit on that information and wait for these scenarios, so that when there is a scenario where they're going to get into war and they need to do a cyber attack, they get their list of book and they say, okay, well, we know that Microsoft is not aware of this vulnerability, and now we're going to exploit it. And when you exploit it, then now you get into the system. So also, there's a new item called the wiper attack. And this is not anything familiar, but this particular one, which is called the HermeticWiper, Hermetic wiper. So what this does is basically destroys the data on the infected machines. And this is being discovered on Ukraine organizations. So again, you have Ukraine computers that the Russians or whoever, the hackers now, they have access to the machines because of a vulnerability that nobody knew about. And now they turn on this application called Wiper. And what it does is it just erases all of the information. So not only is the communication now being um, dropped because of the DDoS attacks, now you have people coming in to the businesses, they're coming into their homes. You have government officials and they're trying to communicate. They're trying to use the number one tool that they have, which is their computer, and now it's white. You can't even use it. You can't even, once you turn it on, it's basically a blue screen. So of course, Moscow is denying being behind the attack, calling such claims Russia phobic. But obviously, there's no coincidence that they're now invading Russia, and all of these things are happening to Ukraine. So this is why it is so important to make sure that a lot of your make sure all of your computers are properly patched and you have the security. But at the end of the day, as you can see, if someone's going to hack into your systems, there's ways to hack. You don't know if there's been spies. You don't know if there's been other methods that the Russian government has done, where they've always been in the systems of Ukraine, and now they are just now using the tools that they had on the machines, and they're exploiting them. So again, our thoughts and prayers are with the Ukraine people. This is not a political channel. We just wanted to stick directly with what's going on with the cyber attacks with Ukraine. So if you start going political, I'm deleting your comments. This is not the channel for that. Just wanted to kind of give you an update as far as what's happening and how, even with the most sophisticated tools and government tools that Ukraine probably had and probably got from the United States, they are still getting hit from Russia. All right, take care. And again, our prayers are with the Ukraine people.